Good afternoon, Veronica Mente. Thank you very much for your time. The reason I felt we needed to play that clip is because this happened yesterday, but also it speaks to what has been a problem, I think, for the longest time, where ideas live or die depending on who actually tables them, which is most likely going to happen even with the bill that you are sponsoring.
Good afternoon, Budvuyo, and thank you for having us. Yes, most of the time, majority in Parliament is utilized to shut down any idea which seeks to progressively take this country forward. And it's not a shocker that the president himself would respond like that let me see the bill and then respond. There's nothing to see and to respond to. The contents is clear. Cut down the cabinet. If this is your idea, why not do it? But because we are living in a culture where delay tactics have been utilized for people who are in government to continue the mismanagement of funds, to continue the maladministration, to continue corruption, to continue all the social ills in the country. Right now, we have the highest rate of unemployment, which could be addressed if we cut down the cabinet to take some of the budget and create jobs elsewhere. But because we are leading with people who have no ideas, but most importantly, we're leading with selfish and very gluttonous people who only think of themselves and the time they are leading now and not think anything about the future and what kind of a country we're going to live for the young generation.
Let's talk about your private member's bill. Why a sweeping ban on alcohol advertising?
Just like in your opening statement, the social ills in this country have now a long-term detrimental effect to the future of this country. At the center of the social ills we're facing in this country is alcohol. Look at the number of accidents on the roads that impact our health system, that are flooding the theaters. Sometimes the theaters have to change schedules because they must accommodate a sudden accident of a bus caused by a drunken driver. The amount of money that is invested in replacing people's limbs, people's parts of the bodies because of the accident. The amount of money that RAF pays out to victims of accidents. But moreover, that is that the amount and the high levels of violence, especially in schools. Now, the children in schools are fighting with the teachers because they have to confiscate substances and in the main, the alcohol they bring to schools. And who introduces our children to alcohol is adverts, because even in the most remote areas where you do not find a consistent social gatherings like your events, your entertainment and everything, but you find youth is engaging in alcohol like someone is luring them into this alcohol activity. But no one is doing that. It's the TV, it's the radio, it's the social media that they are engaging with. It's depicting alcohol as the coolest thing, and it depicts anyone who doesn't drink as the most abnormal person. So for the children to be normal, and we know how children are growing up and being groomed easily in exploration of everything they come across. So in that, now we have schools that have unruly children, and we have children that are going to have to be cut off the schooling system simply because they cannot be disciplined by teachers, and they are fighting back with the teachers. We have a country that has no hope of children who are going to acquire education so that they can be leaders tomorrow, they can own companies tomorrow, they can contribute into the economy tomorrow. We have children that are born with defects because of alcohol, because mothers are drinking during pregnancy, and we have a high GBV and domestic violence cases that are in police stations, and all those at the center of them, it's parents that are fighting at home, it's fathers that are beating up wives and children, and they end up in police stations. You can make as a very simple exercise over the weekend, go to any township police station. You're going to find parents sitting there with children. And when you ask what's the reason, no, I'm here for safety. I don't even want to open a case because on Monday, my husband will be fine. He will go back to work and I'll go back home. But for now, he's drunk, he's kicking all of us out and is unruly and all of those things. But also the salaries that they earn at work, those salaries don't go to any meaningful contribution to the well-being of their families, because they have debts of alcohol. They glamour, the way alcohol is glamorized is such that everyone wants to engage in it, and they engage in it in a very selfish manner that doesn't take care of anyone else. We have the alcohol abuse, and that is on a highest level. But the worst painful thing, Vuyo, is that even with the teenage pregnancy, the statistics that came out last week, if you are interviewing some of those children in the Eastern Cape, and you ask, how did you get pregnant? A child will be like, I was in a social gathering, got intoxicated, I was with a group of friends and these men that we don't know, we drank, we ended up in a place that we do not know, and that's how I got pregnant, and I don't know the father of the baby, I can't even explain what happened to me. So we now have another social ill wherein the state must take care of these babies, because the babies are here, the babies didn't ask to be here, therefore the state must parent the babies and the baby who carried a baby, but we cannot then find the perpetrator, because this is all centered around irresponsible drinking of elders who then lure children into this act of intoxicating children, but the children themselves enjoy it. Look at Enyobeni situation. The children that died in Enyobeni, a young age, less than 18 years old, what were they doing in the alcohol space? If ever someone did not show them that alcohol is cool, being at the tavern is cool. Me and you, we passed matric, we never engaged in alcohol on the last day of pens down, because alcohol for us was something that was not exposed in the manner in which the adverts are exposing it now. But the funny part of it, the reason why we're doing this is that a person with a pusa face or who's suffering the consequences health-wise of alcohol will never be depicted in those adverts. A deformed baby because of alcohol, and a parent who was engaging in alcohol, will never be shown. People who have lost limbs, have lost parts of the body, will never be depicted in those adverts. It's young people, it's beautiful people, it's different flavors, it's nice places. So you also want to, in those nice places, engaging in this drink that makes people to look very cool.
Now, have you canvassed this idea? You've asked the Speaker of the National Assembly to expedite the referral of this bill to the Portfolio Committee on Trade, Industry and Competition. But have you gauged whether there's any of fellow MPs across political parties, including members of the committee, whether they are in fact thirsty, pun intended, for this bill?
Yeah, in terms of engaging people, this bill is not the first time that is coming out. We started with this bill back in our first term as the EFF between 2014 and 19, and there was a bit of work that we did with some of the civil society, and there was a huge agreement and a welcoming of this particular bill. But most importantly is that in Parliament, it's dependent on how the political parties feel. But since there is people who are very much dishonest, it's not going to be pushed aside if it gets to the point of people not agreeing because of principle and moral. It will be a matter of profits and protecting the establishments in terms of those that are profiteering out of the destruction of our country, out of the destruction of families, and out of the suffering of our people. So in terms of engaging, even NETLEC, we've engaged it. So we are confident and we are not worried. There will be time for further engagements and submissions made by public on this bill in the process of making up this bill to the law.
Veronica Mente, let me thank you very much for your time. Economic Freedom Fighters MP who has introduced a private members bill that seeks to prohibit advertising alcohol across all media platforms in the country.